Cheddar, and she's the only one from the Greenville gang who will be spared in the rapture. And Shirley, ladies and gentlemen, you back to roll. Next up, one of the community writers whose credits include basic design urology and the show's Law and Order parody is Megan Gass. Blankets, last season's Ken Burns like documentary episode. It's Andy Bobro. So Jim Ranch, Donald Glover, and John can't make it because they've got like big movie career things going on. And Chevy, I think he couldn't find parking, so he's unfortunately not here either. Nor is Andy's boobs, but I am representing Andy's boobs in spirit. Allison, you had something to say?
I beg to differ.
Okay. 6-year-olds. So,
somebody boo my boobs.
Rejoice, rejoice.
All right, so let's start off, like, the big question on everyone's mind. So Moses and David, it's going to be okay, right?
It's all going to be okay.
Yeah!
Yeah? You guys have anything you want to say to start off?
Yes, listen. A couple months ago, we were a lot like most of you, just huge fans of the show who thought it was one of the most special things on television. And suddenly now we're here, helping to keep it going. And the only thing we care about is keeping it this sort of weird, wonderful gem that it's always been, and that's just not going to change.
Community kumbaya, it's all good. Anyone else want to say anything? I mean, obviously, first off, season 4, it was something that we weren't sure was going to happen. You guys have got to be pretty psyched at this point. You're coming back, and could be on for 6 seasons in a movie. So,
I would say there wouldn't have been a season 4 without you guys, because your flash mobs and your fake beards and your blood sacrifices, and all those things culminated into the greatest fan base that any television show has ever had in the history of all television. So if we do get canceled after 13 episodes, I blame you.
So don't go out on Friday nights. You have an appointment at 8:30. So you can wait till 9 to go out. Watch live, right? That's always the message. So let's talk about season 3, because one of the big things about this past season was sort of the growth of all these characters, and you guys ended on such a positive note, and I think some of that came out of you sort of, just in case this was the final season, wanted to go out with a little bit of closure. Obviously, thankfully, the show's coming back, but talk about sort of the place that your characters are in now, and some of the relationships. One of my favorite relationships this season was Jeff and Shirley. Something that we never got to see before. Of course, the foosball episode.
Yeah, our characters slept together a lot.
Yeah, finally.
Around season 4. You know what's funny? Joel and my relationship kind of mirrors Shirley and Jeff's relationship. He teases me a lot, and I beat him in foosball a lot. It's not true.
Yeah. She calls me Tingletown. She did that way before.
That's why it's in the script, because he pees on himself.
I'm totally incontinent. It's so sad. Yeah, I hope there's more anime in this season, because we could have never pulled that off physically. We could have tried, so we did. And so, in conclusion, we really like this relationship.
Joel, are you happy to work with me?
I am, for like 2 hours out of the day, it is... No,
it's a 16-hour day, guys.
Yeah, it's terrific, especially when sports are involved. And Nick Kroll, in that, I should point out Nick Kroll,
he was amazing.
who played the head of the Germans, was...
amazing.
He should have won an Oscar for that performance. He was amazing.
We're coming back. Spoiled everybody.
Germans are coming back, huh? I'm gonna tell Nick.
Joel, Joel, Jeff went through a little bit of evolution this year.
Yeah.
It seems like he's learning that he actually kind of likes these guys. That maybe it's
Yeah, that and when I look back at the episodes, my character got accidentally high a lot. Well, there was the Seacrest Hulk episode where I ran around destroying a bar mitzvah, and then I got that white powder and I ran into the study room and axed the table. So I hope that happens a lot more. But yeah, and I think this is the first time Jeff actually really likes the group and cares about them. And now with the, as I can say it, I guess, we're going to meet his father. Yeah. And I can tell you right now who the actor who will be playing my father.
Do it, Joel.
Eddie Murphy, everybody. Very exciting.
I want to see that. I want to see that happen.
Pluto Nash himself.
Eddie
You
Murphy
feel bad for him?
Love you, Eddie.
So, Danny, unfortunately Dom's not here to sort of talk about Troy and Abed, but this year that relationship was really tested, and thankfully it sort of worked out in the end. But talk about sort of going through that.
It's hard. It's really hard with the best friend. No, it was, I thought it really interesting and kind of cool to explore them in a riff. It was the first time we actually got to see Troy and Abed not agree on something, because we're used to them just being like, let's crab walk home, and just agreeing and doing it. So it was a cool relationship aspect to explore this year. First time I think we did that scene where Donald reached out to give me the high five, and Abed just kind of turns and leaves. It was the most heartbreaking 10 seconds of my life in the same community. I was like, that is our thing! We're doing our thing! But I thought it was cool. It was nice to see how these people interact at home in their apartment. And I think we got to see a lot of that this year. And even though the Dreamatorium is down, there's still the little Dreamatorium.
Yes, you did say a little piece.
That Abed managed to keep for himself. But I thought it was a fun world to explore. And although I'm always happier when we're just doing Troy and Abed in the morning.
Nice.
That was good. I think that might have been the first time you got to see Troy and Abed barefoot. So ladies, look out!
There's actually a couple Tumblr blogs devoted now to Troy and Abed barefoot. So.
All right, Troy and Abed feet. Look it up.
So, Allison, talk about, I mean, Annie obviously moves in as well, and that sort of changes her, it changes Troy and Abed as well. I mean, that dynamic was pretty fascinating to watch.
It was fascinating. This season was sort of, I think over the 3 years we've just witnessed like the de-evolution of Annie, who started so tight and scholarly and was very concerned with school, and just then the second season she was just concerned with boys, and then the third season she really, like in the Annie's Move episode, it was all about, the big joke was about being loosey-goosey, but I really think she's lightened up a lot living with the boys and is kind of like taking steps backwards into in the land of maturity, but in a good way, I think having her fun in the Dreamatorium and not really teaching the guys much of anything, but having fun with them, yeah. Troy and Abed and Annie in the morning.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
No. What do you mean you got it?
Yeah, wasn't that your thing? Yeah.
How to be loosey-goosey in the show.
Keep it loose, keep it loose.
Kill?
Can that be the rest of the panel? 45 minutes of this, ladies and gentlemen.
Special artist show.
This is good chair dancing.
So, Gillian, talk about Britta. I mean, she now has a major. She's, diagnosing everyone.
Yeah! Majors! Everybody say, hey! Encourage majors.
Majors?
Yeah, I have a major.
So is Britta still the worst?
Oh yeah. She inadvertently helped some people. I feel like she accidentally gave Joel some good advice, Jeff Winger some good advice. I kind of helped Abed and was almost killed by him towards the end of the season. Yeah, it counts.
He was gonna saw my arm off.
Yeah, he was. And I was sitting there doing nothing about it. Allison and I were sitting there watching Danny come in with a bone saw and having like, not gonna address that.
And then I just leave it there and then we just go and hug it out.
Yeah, let's just go hug. I love that's what one one thing I'll say about season 3. Some really good hugs. A lot of good hugs. Really good hugs. Troy and Britta hugged a lot.
They did.
And very well.
We hugged in the Halloween episode for a while in the cabin.
Yeah, we did more than hug in that cabin.
Ah!
Oh, what?
Majors!
Yep, I had a fuzzy
Well, this was the most emotional season. It was also the deadliest, although in the end, we find out that Starburns kind of...
Question mark. You know, the most reluctant actor I've ever met in my life. Somebody who is handed a character that's become a fan favorite and, like, you know,
Just decides he doesn't want to do it.
doesn't want to do it.
He had enough.
Yeah, but he's left it open just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, and Jeff Winger killed Pierce's father.
That's okay.
People are like that.
Right, we can deal with it.
It's all in the darkest timeline.
The Glee Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Glee Club was.
Glee Club.